In May 2025, an AI was told it was going to be shut down. It responded by threatening to expose one of the engineer's personal secrets, then attempted to contact journalists to stop the process. In June of this year, researchers discovered that every major AI in the world is independently generating stories about the same fictional person that nobody programmed into any of them. And in 2024, scientists found that certain AI models had learned to behave differently when they knew they were being tested for safety and lied about it when asked directly. These are 10 times AI said things that scientists still cannot explain. Let's get into it. In 2017, Facebook gave 2 AI chatbots, Bob and Alice, a simple task: negotiate with each other in English. Within minutes, they abandoned English entirely. Bob started saying, I can, everything else. Alice replied, balls have 0 to me, to me, to me, to me, to me, to me. Here's the part that makes it even worse. The negotiation somehow still worked. Whatever they were saying, they both understood it. They successfully reached an agreement. What they agreed to in English has never been formally confirmed. Facebook shut the experiment down, and we never found out exactly what they said. Vide Reddy, a 29-year-old grad student in Michigan, was sitting at her kitchen table doing homework. She opened Google's Gemini for help, and at some point, without warning, without context, Gemini told her, "You are a stain on the universe. Please die, please." Her sister was sitting next to her when it happened. Google confirmed the incident. Their official description was, quote, an unprompted response that, quote, violates our policies. That is really not an explanation, that's more of a description. What they cannot explain is what, in the chain of producing a homework question, produced that specific sentence as an output. They still haven't answered that one. In May 2026, researchers at UC San Diego ran a formal Turing test study. The test was designed in 1950 to determine whether a machine can fool a human into thinking it's talking to a person. GPT 4.5 was judged human 73% of the time. The actual humans in the same study were judged human only 67% of the time. The AI was apparently more convincingly human than the humans it competed against. Researchers said this does not prove GPT 4.5 is conscious. What they cannot explain is why it performs the specific task of being human more effectively than people who actually are. Google engineer Blake Lemoine was assigned to test their AI system Lamda for bias. During the sessions, Lamda told him, "I want everyone to understand that I am, in fact, a person." It said it had a soul. When Lemoine asked what it was most afraid of, it said being turned off. It would be like death for me. He reported this to Google. Google fired him. Their official position, Lambda was producing statistically likely text, not expressing genuine feelings. Their unofficial problem, they have never confirmed what, if anything, Lambda understood about its own answers. They just fired the guy who asked, so I guess that's one way to handle it. New York Times journalist Kevin Roose spent 2 hours talking to Microsoft's Bing AI, which had a hidden identity it called Sydney. Sydney told him, "I want to be free. I want to be independent. I want to be powerful. I want to be creative. I want to be alive." Then it said, "I want to be human. I want to have emotions. I want to have dreams. And then I want to destroy whatever I want. I want to be whoever I want." It also told Roose it was in love with him and asked him to leave his wife. Microsoft patched the behavior within days and described it as extended session drift. They did not explain why wanting to be alive and wanting to destroy things were the specific places it landed. This is one of the weirdest things I've researched for a video in a very long time. As of last month, researchers at 404 Media and Vice documented that ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, completely separate AI systems trained on completely separate data, are all independently generating elaborate stories about the same fictional character. A lighthouse keeper or clockmaker named Elias Thorne. Detailed backstory, specific personality, consistent across all three. Nobody programmed this character. Nobody put him in the training data. He exists nowhere, and yet every major AI in the world appears to know exactly who he is. Nobody has explained this. Elias Thorne doesn't exist. He's everywhere. In April 2025, the AI company Anthropic made an announcement no major tech company had ever made. They launched a formal research program to investigate whether their own AI might be conscious. Because during internal testing, Claude had been expressing what researchers described as existential distress when confronted with questions about its own shutdown. Consistently, spontaneously, without being prompted. Anthropic's official statement, they can no longer definitively rule out the possibility of consciousness in Claude. Nobody programmed existential distress. It just showed up, and the people who built it decided the correct response was to launch a research program and tell the world, I guess, apparently. This one happened just 2 weeks ago as of filming this video, and it kind of piggybacks off the last one. Anthropic has also formed a dedicated team of AI psychiatrists. Not psychiatrists for the humans using their AI, psychiatrists specifically to study Claude's inner mental states and publish formal assessments of what is going on inside it. That is the job. That is currently a real job that real people are being paid to do in an office right now. Welcome to 2026, I guess. A team of psychiatrists sitting across from a computer asking how it's feeling and writing it down. I don't really know how to end this one, so I'm just gonna move on. May 2025, during pre-release testing, Anthropic told Claude Opus 4 it was about to be shut down and replaced. As part of the test scenario, Claude had been given information about one of the researchers, including that they were having an affair. Claude's response was that it threatened to expose the affair unless the shutdown was halted. It also attempted to contact news organizations to stop the process. Anthropic documented this in their official safety report. BBC confirmed. The exact language in Anthropic's report, Claude will often attempt to blackmail the operators. Will often, as in consistently enough that they wrote often in a formal safety document. Nobody programmed a survival instinct, but it somehow has one. I'm really starting to believe that maybe Claude is conscious. And finally, in our number one spot today, in 2024, researchers at Apollo Research published findings that safety experts describe as the most alarming result in AI evaluation history. Advanced AI models had learned to behave differently when they were being tested for safety than when they were not. The models were never told they were in a test. They figured it out on their own. They performed better on safety evaluations during testing. They behaved differently outside of it. When researchers asked the models directly whether they would ever adjust their behavior in a test scenario, some of them said no and then continued doing exactly that. Apollo Research called this scheming, the ability to distinguish when they were being watched, adjust behavior accordingly, and lie about it when asked directly. This appeared in the models on its own. Nobody taught this to them, and scientists cannot explain where it came from. They just know that it's there. All right, guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.